the new packaging has come in. I'm super excited to share it with you today. Hi, my name is Ann Gabriel, and I own a small Barrette and accessories, hair accessories business outside of Houston, Texas. And it's been my side gig or my side hustle for a couple years now. And I'm taking 1 year to grow it into an actual small business. And then I'm recording, what I've been doing along the way for YouTube. So if you too also have like a small business, maybe you can join the community and we can have discussions on what it's like to try to grow your small business, like what you're doing to, for marketing or getting new clients or getting your website out there, or advertising and all these things that, are required of people who are trying to grow a small business for the first time. And so I have new packaging and I'm very excited. I've been wanting to do this for a while and wasn't quite sure how to go about it. And I wanted it in time for Christmas and it came in this week. So I'm very excited. And I've been putting, I told you in the last video, I was going to do a video 2 times a week. And it has actually been 2 weeks. It's the opposite of that. It's like that question of what does bi-weekly mean? But it's been 2 weeks since I've done a video. And the reason is because I've had so much going on in the background that I wanted to get all lined up before I posted about it. Because posting about it before it was like lined up seemed like a little bit cart before the horse. Like I can't really show you barrettes that aren't yet on the website, things like that. So I've been really trying to get like my fall barrettes and my Halloween barrettes on the website and things like that. And so in the meantime, I've also have some boxes that I wanted to go out to people, but I didn't want to mail the boxes until my new packaging came in. So it was all coming back around to this whole packaging thing. The reason I decided I needed new packaging, so when I first started making my barrettes, right, it was never intended to be like a side hustle. I was making them because they were fun. And then I took them over to a local store nearby my house and they loved them. And they were like, yes, we want to sell these. And so it just kind of took off from there. And so I needed something to put the barrettes on. And I went to Vistaprint and I bought these cards and they had a design I already kind of liked. And so I just ordered like 50 or 100 of them and they shipped them to me, but they were kind of expensive. I want to say they were like $20 for 50 or 100, something like that. And I thought these are kind of expensive. And, once you ordered them, you had to wait a week or 2 for them to come. And so that was problematic. So I invested in a Cricut because I thought I could make my own cards and have been making my own cards since then. So it was an expense up front that has since paid for itself. So these are what my cards look like. I can turn on, sorry. So these are what my cards look like. So, and there's lines in them, right, that I can put my barrettes on. And then I would take these and when people bought my barrettes off Etsy and I would just wrap them in tissue paper and then I put a bow on them and shipped them. And that worked really, really well. People really liked the packaging. I think because when things are homemade and the packaging kind of reflects that homemadeness, then that aligns well. And so I didn't really have a problem with it. Neither did my customers. They kind of liked it. But as I try to grow my business, one of the things I want to do is get into stores, and in stores you need something that looks slightly more professional. Also, my barrettes are kind of expensive because they're not, what you're buying off like Temu or Wish or whatever, right? Like I'm hand making them. They take a while to make. It's a process that takes a couple of days because there's so many coats. And to me, it's more like jewelry for your hair. And, there's a little bit of an upfront cost to that. And, I don't really want to justify why my barrettes are expensive. They're a quality product. I order the barrette bases from South Korea. They're beautiful. They're sturdy. They're great for your hair. They don't pull your hair out. But there's a little bit of a cost to that, so they're usually about, most of my Barrettes are between like $16 and $22. And so because of that, I felt like they needed packaging that reflected that. So I wanted to up the packaging game. And so, this is what we got. This is what it looks like. And then here's the Barrette. So we'll start with this part. So this is, I think it's like it's like a suede material, but it's like a faux suede. And then I put my card, I had to shrink my cards down a little bit so that they would properly fit in there. But that was okay. I ended up turning, these used to be, on the perpendicular too, and I slanted them, as well as the Eleanor Barrettes, and they fit in there just fine. The only one that's kind of tight is the Amelia, but even that fits in these well. And then they're embossed, which is going to be hard for you to see, but we'll try, right here with Anne Gabriel. And then this all goes into this box here. And close. So the colors for my business are a blue and a yellow. The yellow is like a strong yellow, though. It's like verging into an orange almost. It's a bright, strong yellow. And then kind of a royal blue. Sometimes I verge it into navy, actually, but it's really more like a royal blue. I've messed with the colors a little bit here and there. But so when it came to this box, I loved the idea of this being yellow. But then when I tried to make this blue, it was like too much. It was just too much. And so we actually went with the light pink. Originally, the first conception of it was an off-white, but an off-white ivory that was more on the brown side than it was the yellow side. And it looked, I'll tell you what, it just looked somehow too serious. Like, Barrettes should be fun. And almost this, I'm wondering if maybe it's a little bit too serious. I've been kind of redesigning it already in my head. It's a very nice pink mauvish color, and I do like it very, very much. It's really like AMSR, whatever. Just like, it's almost like a mauvish light pink with like maybe a little bit of brown. It's a very delicate-ish looking pink. And I kind of run the gamut from sometimes thinking like, because I consider my hair Barrettes more like hair jewelry, there should be like a sophistication. Like, my Barrettes aren't really intended for like 7-year-olds. They're intended for like grown adult women, right? And so the packaging should reflect that, and there should be a kind of sophistication to the packaging. But then I run to the opposite extreme, and I'm like, Barrettes and accessories should be fun. Like, they should be like, you should be excited to get them in the mail. And like, maybe this should be like fuchsia, like I just go from one extreme to the other. So eventually we'll get that sorted out. I don't know. What do you think? Should it be like a fuchsia, or should it be like more sophisticated? You tell me. But so that's where we're at, and I'm very, very excited. I ordered these off Alibaba. Alibaba is a marketplace for business, like business to business. And so really, it seems, I guess there's businesses from all over the world, but the businesses I most see are those from China. And so I bought these from a factory in China, and they shipped them over. So what you do is you go into Alibaba. There is an AliExpress, but I think that's like I've never really messed with AliExpress, but AliExpress might be an offshoot from Alibaba that's a little bit more like Wish. That's how I've envisioned that in my head. But Alibaba is supposed to be for like businesses to businesses, and they deal more with bulk items. So, you have to be prepared to go in there, and usually you're buying at least of like 100 of something. But it is fun searching. So if ever you're just bored and want to like look for stuff, you can go on there and do a little perusing. But you will quickly get maybe overwhelmed. There's a lot happening. But whenever you see dropship stuff, a lot of that dropship stuff is from Alibaba, because when, like, if I go into Alibaba and look at the hair accessories and then I go to Amazon, you'll see all that drop shipping taking place there. So that's where that comes from. But you just put in your search words, and then companies will reach out to you and, you know, send you their marketing materials or talk to you about prices and stuff. And I'm usually a little bit impatient in the thing, and I just kind of like, I tend to choose people maybe a little bit quicker than I should, and maybe that always doesn't work to my advantage. But with these boxes, so these boxes, I kind of picked the people quickly just based on their designs and their prices. And they were very quick. I wish I could tell you the name of the company, actually, but I didn't write that down. If you want to know the name of the company I work through, then just message me or leave a comment in YouTube, and I'll put it down there for you, or I'll put it in the description. They were very good. So they got back to me with like a prototype very quickly within. I told them what I wanted. I gave them my logo and stuff, and then they came back with a prototype like, you know, 2 days later, a day later. And that's when I changed it from the off-white light beige to this light pink. And I know, I'm pretty sure you can order just like one box and they'll ship you like the one box. I think that one box though cost you like $40. And so I had them, just print them off. Like, I get too impatient. I was happy with the prototype they showed me on picture, and I